Hi, I'm Cody from Wall Street Breakdown. You've probably been here before, but if you haven't, I would encourage you to go down and click the subscribe button and the notifications bell. You get all sorts of great financial news. We're doing videos every day the market's open. See, today now we've got a bit of an anomaly. Now I'm going to get a bigger board, I promise you. If we're going to pull this back anymore, I want you guys to be right in here with me getting all this information so you can read it, write it down, whatever it happens to be. Maybe you want to tune me out and put me on mute and just see what I've written down here so that you can go ahead and do your own research. That's totally fine too. We need to get you guys a much bigger board. But today, what we have for Friday, what is it, the 15th? Is it the 15th of September? Let me reference a calendar. It is the 15th of September. What happened today? The Dow Jones and the S&P were both up. What were they up, you might ask? Look at my Bullet Club shirt. What's up? What were they up? They were up record highs to close the day. We love that. Come on, we had 3 record highs in a row from the Dow this week. This is excellent. I mean, the American economy is smoking along. We've been through this, right? The Dow's up 64.8. The S&P's up 4 and a little bit. The TSX was up as well, but it was up just ever so slightly. It wasn't anything worth writing home about. You want to get started where? You want to talk about Canada first? Maybe we'll knock out north of the border first. We'll put this thing on a bit of a flip. We'll put it on its head for a little bit. Canadian debt. You want to talk Canadian debt? I'm a Canadian. You want to talk about your debt? You want to tell me how you're doing financially? No? Today a study came out that said Canadian debt right now is currently at $1.68 of debt for every dollar of earnings. That is bad, Canada. We need to do better than that. Canada's turning it around, and we definitely need to manage our own finances a lot better. We can't be out there spending just anything we want, anytime we want. That's just not all right. You need to be able to hone it in a little bit, have a little self-control. I don't mean to be a bit of a stickler for, you know, the stuff your parents told you or anything, but that stuff works. Honestly, the best thing to do is to be able to pare it back a little. Do you need a brand new car? Do you need a brand new house? Do you need this? Do you need that? Do you have life insurance yet? Are your kids taken care of? Is school paid for? Is the house you live in currently paid for? Can you afford to pay the bills you have? Canada right now, it sounds like while the economy's coming back, a lot of Canadians are living more than paycheck to paycheck. We're talking real close, $1.68 to $1. Put that into perspective. That's a big, vast difference there, right? Wow, that's a lot. We don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. My Canadian brethren, honestly, we know better than that, and we expect better than that, don't we? Moving on, Facebook is moving to Montreal. Facebook is going to be doing a bit of a conjoined little group with some people at McGill University in their AI department. They actually have an AI department at McGill University. This is an AI endeavor by Facebook in Montreal. And then the Montreal Institute for Learning Algorithms is the other institute that's going to be involved in this. We've already got, I believe, Alphabet and Microsoft are both already in Montreal currently doing AI stuff with other other people, other groups, other derivatives of these same universities. They're out there doing the exact same thing. This will be Facebook's 4th AI site that's going to be directly involved in just the study of AI. So they've got one in Palo Alto, one in New York, and one in Paris. I believe they're going to be investing in something like $7 million. It's really minor. But they've got, I mean, there's like a combined amount of researchers between the McGill University team and the guys with the Montreal Institute for Learning Algorithms. There's a combined group of about 100, 200 major researchers. These guys know what they're doing. So this is huge. Facebook coming to Canada. It's not major in the sense of monetarily, but it just shows that these big names, in the AI business, they're clearly going to Montreal. There's something going on there that's got Alphabet, Microsoft, and Facebook all deciding that this is a place that they've got to get to, and they've got to check out exactly what's going on here, invest a little bit of money. Obviously, these researchers know what they're doing, but it's also a big deal in Canada just to have a company like Facebook be associated with us. I mean, come on. We're not sniveling, groveling, or anything. It's not like we don't have anything up here of our own, but honestly, you bring in one of the big heavyweights, and we like to be associated with you. So Facebook, welcome to Montreal, honestly. We want to see what Facebook could do in the AI department. We're excited to see what everybody that's researching AI is going to be doing between that and the virtual reality stuff we see going on. There is a lot coming just right around the corner as far as technology goes, and technology we're actually going to be able to use, not technology improving your computer or improving chipsets or anything like that. Something that you get to use, but you don't get to physically, tangibly use it. Virtual reality, artificial intelligence. I would imagine this is a lot more user-friendly, something you actually get to directly manipulate and play with yourself. So very excited. AI could be something way, way off the charts. So we go over to the Dow and the S&P, and we take a look at winners, losers. NVIDIA up 6.3% today. Evercore raised its price target early this morning from $180, I believe, to $250. Other than that, though, semiconductors were just up on the day. As you can see, Western Digital up 3.2%. They're totally tied into this Toshiba story here, so we will get to that. That's a bigger story. Seagate Technologies up 2.8%. Seagate was the same thing, just absolutely tied into the fact that the semiconductors were up. There's a big DRAM story out there. We're going to get to this DRAM story. That's also out there. That's affecting a lot of things. Oracle down 7.7%. Oracle beat on EPS and revenues yesterday. I mean, I thought going into the close, I mean, the earnings didn't come out until after the close, but I thought going into the close, it was all good. And like the price targets have been raised at two institutions since yesterday's earnings call. Jefferies and Canaccord both said that they figure, you know, Oracle's going to go up even. It's only a little bit at Jefferies, but I mean, it's a little bit. They thought up, not down, down 7.5%, 7.7% after a really good earnings call. 48.74 is what they're trading at the end of today. That's still near the top of the 52-week high, but, you know, what did people want? I mean, when you beat on earnings and you beat on revs, and you seem to be moving a company in the right direction, and people are raising price targets on you, this is just one of the things that happens in the market, right? Sometimes you get this stuff where a whole sector is just tied into a bunch of different stories and everybody gets a bump, and then sometimes you get this where everything seemed peachy keen. There was no problem yesterday. How did we develop a problem today? Apparently, we developed a problem. So Oracle down 7.7%. They're up near the 52-week high, right? You got to get a pullback sometime. Acuity Brands, they do lighting, all sorts of lighting controls, lighting for every type of structure that might need lighting, not just the lighting in your house, even though Acuity Brands might be involved in my lighting here. They're doing a beautiful job. I love this lighting. They're at 170.50 right now that they're trading at. They were down 4.2% today, and they're near the bottom of their 52-week low. I don't know what to tell you. I really want to give you a big story about how their lights are exploding and, you know, babies are being, I don't want to give you a story about babies being set on fire, but let's fictitious baby, something, wham, that's going to really drive this story home. But there's literally no news. There's no news, and Acuity's down at the, like, near the 52-week low. Like, that's, you know, it's a good company. It's a good, strong company. They got a lot of ins with a lot of different companies and a lot of different industries. I can't tell you why that is what it is. The market does what it wants. I am just a participant. I am not driving this vehicle. We have no idea where that driver's headed. They're going erratic. The market's bipolar. I mean, honestly, it needs to be on volume. We all know that. Equifax down again, 3.8%. They've been down. They weren't down the most out of the S&P stuff. I mean, obviously, the 7.7 and the 4.2, but they weren't down even enough to be in the top. I think they were the fifth. Well, but I put them on there because two of their executives took early retirement. Boom, right away, like immediate retirement today. Equifax, just I don't even have any nice words for Equifax. Equifax is just running a gong show over there, losing 143 million identities. 143 million identities, really, Equifax? How do you sleep at night, Equifax? You're going to be sleeping under a bridge here pretty quick. Bitcoin below 3,000. Now, Bitcoin is not below 3,000 right now, but Bitcoin was trading down. It was trading down significantly. It's been trading down significantly for a while, a week and a half now. It was 5,000, 4,000. Now you got Bitcoin down, and it's about 3,500. But the news from China actually it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst news. It ended up coming out that China is going to shut down the exchanges. There's still going to be over-the-counter trades, though, of Bitcoin. But it sounds like what China is doing is more revamping the way that they manage these Bitcoin exchanges. And they just don't have the infrastructure in place yet to be able to do it. That makes it entirely different, I would say, right? That makes it entirely different for me. So Bitcoin's obviously not leaving China. So 3,500, I mean, 3,000's a you know, that's a long shot. Bitcoin is still very, very popular. There's a lot of people that don't know a whole lot about a lot of stuff about the stock market, but they've heard about Bitcoin and they want to sink their teeth into it. So I don't believe that Bitcoin's going away anytime soon. Definitely not going, it's not going down this drastically, just down to nothing, right? I think we all know that, despite how I feel about cryptocurrencies. The Toys R Us bankruptcy, the idea that they could go bankrupt, $400 million due, I believe, early in 2018. Supplies are being withheld a little bit. Apparently, there's going to be a bit of supply shortage going into the Christmas season. Hasbro, Mattel, everybody's being a little leery. Hasbro said, you know, like, we watch all of our retail distribution ends. Like, we're always paying attention to what's going on. But the idea that Toys R Us could be going bankrupt, maybe not able to pay their bills, where am I going to get my wrestlers from? Honestly, Toys R Us, you guys got to figure this out. Can we pull it together? Does a private equity firm have to come in and just take you and show you how to run a business properly? Maybe. That's probably what's going to end up happening if these guys actually do go completely, if they go searching for some sort of bankruptcy protection. I would imagine that's probably what's going to end up happening, but that's not where we're at right now. But suppliers are being a little leery, and that's not great going into the Christmas season. We've got retail sales in August down negative 0.2% month over month versus positive 0.6% the prior month. Not to mention, if you take autos out of it entirely, it was up 0.2% this month, but still down 0.5% from the prior month. So we're down at the retail level where you've got everything pulled in, and then we're still down at the level where you've pulled the automobile sales out of the retail stuff. It's not a good look. I mean, this was the back to school season. These August sales were supposed to be the ones. We've seen a lot of retailers jumping up. We've had retailers over here in the black ink day after day after day after day, right? We've covered Nordstrom's, Kohl's, Gap, L Brands. We've gone through retail after retail after retail. And now to see that the August sales are down so significantly, that's just not acceptable, right? And I got to imagine that any more economic stuff like this, or maybe this, this came out in the morning. We didn't see a lot of retail pullback, but I mean, that right there has to tell me that there's going to be a bit of a retail pullback probably in the next week. Like, we're going to see some of those gains off some of those companies that probably got gains they maybe didn't deserve. Maybe they've earned a little bit of people's trust to an extent where they want to believe, but they never earned the gain. They may give a little bit of that back when economic indicators start saying that, yeah, you say you're running a great company and all these changes are happening, and, you know, like, but the actual, you know, same store sales and the retail sales figures tell us that retail as a whole is still not doing what we expected it to do, especially in August here. I'm trying to readjust. I've got a big table here, a large, massive table in my way. I'm a fairly massive guy myself. Bitcoin, yeah, we've covered this. Toys R Us, retail sales, we have covered. Man, we're covering it. I told you this is going to be a long video. This is the only video I'm doing today. This is all you're getting. You're getting this. You're getting nothing else, because there was nothing big enough. We are getting into the big story, though. I'm going to work my way to the big stuff. You guys just hold with me. Rio Tinto. They say Rio Tinto could be following in the footsteps of BHP Billiton and sell off some of its assets to raise a little bit of capital. Apparently, the rumor is they could be looking to raise upwards of $10 billion. They finished a $2.7 billion sale of Coal and Allied. They could get about $4 billion if they really wanted to get rid of the rest of their coal operations, which I'm not entirely sure is what their agenda is. If they were looking to get rid of their aluminum sector and really move out of that, there's about $2.8 billion in selling Pacific Aluminum, which is also under the Rio Tinto umbrella. So Rio Tinto definitely, if they're looking to bring in this kind of a capital, $10 billion. Already brought in, like we said, 2.7 selling Coal and Allied. But if they wanted to bring in more, and this is in the news, and we've just had BHP Billiton do just a similar thing, you could see Rio Tinto maybe try to put a few of these things up for sale. It's a lot of speculation at this point in time, but it's definitely something to think about. Who knows? I mean, a lot of people are in a lot of these other companies because they go out in other sectors. I know a lot of you guys own funds that cover a million things, or you're running indexes. It's a lot easier. But I mean, if you're picking and choosing in actual sectors, you know, there's a lot of people in BHP Billiton, Rio Tinto to just get completely diversified outside of all the technology and other stuff that's a lot more mainstream news. So you got to stick this stuff in here. You got to stick this stuff in here and let people hear about the breadth of information that's out there and not just the stuff that gets the headlines. Rio Tinto, not a big headliner. GNC was up moderately. They're up a bit yesterday too. You know, like I think they gained like 12, 13% in the last 2 days. There was a lot of talk last week about them wanting to get into China and to have somebody help them out. They have a few suitors. A couple suitors have fallen by the wayside. They do have a suitor, though, that it sounds like might be helping them. So people kind of have a little bit of a belief in GNC again. It was a bit of news. I seen it, to be honest with you. I think we've talked about GNC one time before. It's a lot of overpriced stuff, to be honest. I don't foresee the value going forward, not in brick and mortar North America, not being inside malls or paying the kind of overhead that there is to sell me $70 bottles of creatine that I'm not going to buy. I mean, it's just not worth it. I'm sorry. I know enough about that to know that GNC, just as a business model, that what they're doing right now isn't a business model. Okay, let's get into it. Two big stories. DRAM. Do you like semiconductors? I mean, here you go. Semiconductors ruled the day. They ruled the day today as DRAM prices. DRAM is high capacity memory. It's in your computers, your cell phones, all this kind of stuff. DRAM is up universally in price. The price to acquire DRAM is up double this year. Double. That's crazy, right? Samsung, SK Hynix, Micron. These guys all have record profits in their DRAM divisions. Titan supplies, price hikes. The semiconductor industry, period, is huge, but this DRAM has been going off the charts. We had analysts say today that DRAM could go up to 40% higher in price from where it's at right now. I mean, it could go God knows where. But DRAM is definitely on the move. There's a lot of people that need it. It's needed in so many different areas, and there just isn't enough good stuff of it out there. I believe Micron has said they are not upping the production of their DRAM whatsoever. SK Hynix said that they are, and Samsung has said they're basically mum on the topic at this point and haven't said if they're going to be upping the capacity of their actual DRAM production or not. But SK Hynix did say that they will. SK Hynix also involved in the next story, the biggest story of the day. What I think the biggest story of the day is probably a story that didn't really get a whole lot of actual coverage. But Toshiba is in, okay, so Toshiba's trying to sell a chip unit, right? Toshiba needs to raise this money. They could be getting delisted. Toshiba's in a whole lot of, they got a bunch of stuff going on. They got a chip unit that's, it knows what it's doing. It's solid. And there's a few people that want a hold of it. So there's a consortium. That's a group that got together. Bam, these guys, they pulled it together. That's the lead right now in the bidding for Toshiba's chip unit. That consortium is Bain Capital, Apple, Dell, Seagate, Kingston, and SK Hynix. Now, there's a competing consortium that says they kind of had a deal on the table first with Toshiba, and that's headed by Western Digital. But at the moment, it seems like Toshiba, even though they've made no commitments, are leaning towards going with the Bain Capital-driven consortium. Bain Capital saying, hey, look at all these companies coming together. Nobody said what they're going to be putting in or what they're going to be doing, but all these companies coming together, look, it just goes to show love for independent Toshiba. You know, like this is them saying that, hey, the whole industry as a whole wants to come together, share the technology. Who knows who's putting what in? We don't know, but we know that Western Digital is fighting this tooth and nail, taking it to court. They are not allowing this sale to go through. No matter if they want to accept Bain Capital's offer or not, Toshiba, Western Digital is going to fight this because they think they had a deal first. They think their deal was the one, but apparently, you know how things change when there's not, ink isn't dry on the paper, man. I mean, what can I tell you? So apparently that's the same thing they're telling them. That's the news for Friday, September 15th, 2017. That's your market recap, bro. You guys go out and have yourselves a splendid weekend, a safe weekend, and I will do much the same, and I will be back on Monday to join you for more financial news coverage. Hopefully we'll be able to fix or change or tweak or improve or enlighten or something to do with your portfolio or your knowledge or something. Maybe I'll bring something into your life. I know all the people that make comments that I talk to, people that like what I do. You guys bring lots into my life. I appreciate it. I'm Cody from Wall Street Breakdown. We leave this week with the Dow and the S&P at record highs. Oh, to live in the time we live in.